Alright guys, we are back on Saturday here at the Big Top. We did make a few changes. I'll show you those shortly. It is about 1 o'clock. I'm going to go over the items we've sold so far. So far we've done about $150, which is pretty darn good. Alright, let's see. I sold a loose copy of Final Fantasy X in a custom case. That was $4. Sold a copy of Avatar Last Airbender for the PS2. That was $4. We sold Saints Row complete in box for the 360 for $10. Sold Street Fighter 4 complete in box for the 360 for $6. We sold 3 DVDs for $5. I sold an ET cartridge for the 2600 for $2. It's kind of funny. A little kid comes in and goes, ET! And remembers watching the documentary on them throwing all the ET cartridges away in New Mexico. We also sold a Captain American graphic novel for $7. We sold 3 Game Boy Advance cases, just the little plastic cases you can put the games in, 3 for $1. I sold a box copy of Super Mario Bros. 3. It was missing the manual for $27. The same person bought Top Gun loose for the NES. That was $3. And they bought the Super Mario Bros. By itself loose for $8. Then they bought a Retron 1 that plays the NES games for $23. I then sold 11 comics for $10 to let him have a break on those. We sold Home Alone for the original Game Boy for $3. They also bought Tetris for the original Game Boy for $3. We sold 3 DVDs for $5. Sold NBA Jam loose for the Genesis for $3. Kingdom Hearts 2 for the PS2 for $10. A single comic for $1. We sold Guitar Heroes for the DS for $4. M&M Kart Racing for $5, and Pet Resort for $4. Guys, if we sell anything else, I will let you know. Alright, some of the biggest changes I made were with the display cases. Let me show you what we did here. I pretty much moved all the more expensive stuff into the first one. And my PS1 games, I actually got a Chrono Trigger Famicom box, Super Famicom box. And the other display case, I brought some of the more expensive comics that I have. Down below we've got a couple Genesis box games and a Game Boy Advance. Actually got the brackets in this week, so we've got our shelves hung as well. Alright, you can see I'm at home. We got cleaned up because it was pretty hot out there at the flea market, and we did sell quite a bit of stuff before we left. We had looks like a couple come in and bought quite a bit of stuff from us. They bought 3 DVDs for $5. They bought Namco Museum complete for the PS1 for $5. They bought a Sopranos for the PS2 game. It was, I think, missing the manual. It was $4. A loose copy of Spider-Man for the PS2. It was in a custom box. That was $3. They bought Lord of the Rings 2 Towers for the PS2. It was complete for $3. Cabela's Big Game Hunter for the PS2. That was $4. He bought a copy of Hardball, just a loose cartridge for the Genesis. That was $2. Destroy All Humans. The case was kind of messed up, but it was complete. He bought that for $4. And they bought a PS2 controller, one of the aftermarket ones that I think I sold one last Sunday as well. They got that for $11. Then we sold Echo, a box copy for the Genesis. That was $8. We sold 3 DVDs for $5. I sold a PlayStation AV cable for $6. Then a gentleman came in and bought 3 N64 games from us. They bought Diddy Kong Racing for $13, Wave Race 64 for $3, and Gex 64 for $6. And at the very end, these 2 older gentlemen came in and probably stayed in our booth probably for a good 40 minutes. We let them have a couple chairs, and they kind of just sat in front of the DVDs and picked through them. One guy bought 3 DVDs for $5, and the other guy bought 2 DVDs. We let him have them for $3. And today we did $244, which is probably our best Saturday that we've done yet. So guys, come back and we will have some footage for Sunday. Well, unfortunately, I didn't really do anything Sunday. I didn't film any because before I even knew it, it was like 3:30. It was just so darn busy on Sunday. We did $310, which is pretty darn good. So that basically puts us up to $554 for the weekend, which is better than last week, just by a little bit. Seems like things are really clicking out at the flea market. We've been getting a lot of people showing up. On Sunday, I had a few interesting people show up. I had a couple that said they watched my YouTube videos, which is kind of cool. The first gentleman, he calls himself the nemesis of the guy who I normally buy stuff from to put in the store. I actually bought some stuff from him too. It was just like, you know, a couple N64s, a Wii, a PlayStation 1. He had some, you know, decent games, nothing really super expensive. He had some GameCube games. Probably the best one out of the lot was Hunter the Reckoning, complete in box for the GameCube. He had some PS2 games. He had the original Dark Cloud Complete, which has been going up in price. It's a really awesome game. And he also had Nightmare Before Christmas as for the PS2, which is kind of pricey. I was kind of surprised by how much it actually goes for. One of the other gentlemen I met was a fellow collector. He said he watches my videos as well and buys a lot of obscure stuff. Some of the things he bought were my Arcadia 2001 cartridge, that Sega Mark III Japanese cartridge, and the Fairchild cartridge. He also bought some other stuff as well. We had some pretty big sales, you know, $50, $60 at a time. Don't think we sold any systems for the weekend, which was kind of surprising. Well, to make up for me not doing any filming on Sunday, I am going to do combine one of my pickups videos. I got quite a bit of stuff in over the weekend. So let me gather all that stuff up and I'll show it to you. Alright, first up, some things I got from eBay. I'm still on my Super Famicom import, Japanese import kick. First, though, I'm going to show you a game I have wanted for a very long time. It has a special chip in it. It's for the original Famicom. It's a sci-fi RPG. It's kind of pricey. I think I paid $30 for this. It's a loose cart. If I couldn't have gotten this to work in my Retron 5, which I was able to get it to translate it into English, I was going to send it away to get it to get the ROM replaced in it, and they were going to put the English translation on it, but it works, so I don't have to do that. That is Lagrange Point. The little bit I've played of it, it's been very interesting. Like I said, it has a special chip for music. This is probably one of the best sounding Nintendo games you'll ever hear. I'm going to put a little footage after this clip for this game and another one that I got, just so you can basically hear what the music sounds like and see what the game looks like. Alright, the next one, the one I'm going to put a clip at the end of this video to show you, is unfortunately a game. It does have an English translation, but I tried it in the Retron 5 and it doesn't work, which is kind of a bummer. Maybe at some point they'll patch it so it will work. That is Cyber Knight for the Super Famicom. It is another sci-fi RPG. And a little bit I played of it, it's kind of interesting. When I was walking around in town, it kind of reminded me of like Phantasy Star 2. The graphics, it looked, the walls and everything, the textures and everything looked a lot like Phantasy Star 2. But you actually travel around in your ship and fly from planet to planet, which is kind of neat. You can travel around inside the ship. You can go to like the hangar deck. You can go inside the command center, the medical, the science lab. You can go to all these different kind of places in the ship, which is kind of cool as well. That one, I think I paid like $10 for. It was complete. Then I picked up a couple games I had loose that I ended up selling a couple weeks ago. I was going to get these for my collection regardless. They're very cool. First, we've got Dragon Quest V complete for the Super Famicom. And of course, if I get 5, you know I've got to get 6. Very happy to add these to my collection. I know they were released, I think, on the DS, but you know, it's cool to have these where I can play them on the somewhat original hardware. At least I get to play them as they were played back in Japan on the Super Famicom. Next, we've got a couple things I picked up. As a matter of fact, this tonight I picked up while I was out at GameStop. I am still on my PS3 and 360 RPG kick, trying to pick up all the ones that I'm missing. Here's one that I would suggest, you know, if you're interested in RPGs, maybe take a look at. That is Ragnarok Odyssey Ace for the PS3. This was a new copy, but it was the only one that they had. It was $20, guys. If you are interested in Japanese RPGs, like I said, it's only 20 bucks. Definitely a good pickup. I told them I just didn't want them to put the clear tape on it because that stuff is just so hard to get off. Next, I picked up a game I have been looking for quite a while. It's been like 40 bucks new. I've not been able to find a used copy of it. I found this one. It had a $35.99 price tag on it. I know it's kind of high, but I was going to get it because I've just not been able to find it. I took it up to the register and found out it was only $22.99, which is really cool. That is R No Surge Ode to the Unborn Star, which I take it this is going to be a probably sci-fi RPG as well. Another really cool one I get to add to my collection. And the last thing I got from GameStop is a game I've got for the 360. I wanted to get the international version for the PS3. That is Star Ocean International. It's also complete. I think this one was like $22.99 as well. Picked this up just because I know it was announced, I think it was last week, some of the YouTube channels announced it, that they are working on a new Star Ocean game for the PS3, PS4. I think it's about 30% done right now, so that's pretty exciting to see another one coming out. And the last thing that I picked up, I got to get it here, so let me go down here and get it. It's the big thing that I was mentioning to everybody that I had coming in the mail. It was a game system. It's one that I already had, but this one is AV modded. That's why I got it. It's a Intellivision. You can see right there. There are the AV ports in it that was added. Haven't had a chance to play it very much yet, but I'm really happy I can get this because now I hopefully will be able to do some videos for the Intellivision, hook it right into my capture card and get some footage. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you, just like I said, a couple clips of from Lagrange Point and Cyber Knight because they're kind of obscure. And again guys, thanks for watching.